Hi everyone, this is Brooke Harris, one half of the Open Box Leadership Team, where our vision is to make wholeness more accessible. I want to talk to you today about my call story. What am I talking about? I'm talking about calling, vocation, what you're drawn to in life to do in this world kind of thing. So I want to really quickly read the definition of calling by Merriam-Webster, and it says a strong inner pulse toward a particular course of action, especially when accompanied by conviction of divine influence. Okay, so I'm going to set this down. So I just want to talk about where I am and how I kind of got to this point, and I'm going to try to be as succinct as possible. I always wanted to be a singer. I still want to be a singer. I am a horrible singer. Really, really, really bad. But over time, that's when I was a kid. Wanted to be like Whitney Houston and Janet Jackson. Oh my gosh. And so as I got older, even like I said, it's still there. Who am I kidding? But as I got older, I developed this sense of wanting to help people. That was always what I wanted to do, and I went from wanting to do different things, such as being a psychologist, not psychiatrist, psychologist, to being a pediatrician. I wanted to even be a dentist. I entered college wanting to be a dentist. And then I thought about going into people's mouths, and I felt it was kind of disgusting, so that quickly went away. And I graduated college, got a degree in business. I felt like everything's a business, so I might as well learn business. I got a degree in business, but I always felt this sense that there was something more, that I should not just focus on numbers, but I should focus on people. And so over some time, I developed this sense of wanting to connect with ministry in some way, being of service for God. And so what ended up happening is a friend of mine mentioned going to seminary to me, and I said, ha ha ha, seminary? Me? No. I ended up going to seminary. But what ended up helping with me doing that was I ended up having a session, a free session with a life coach back in, I want to say it was like maybe 2004. I had a session with a life coach, and she said something that really helped me to kind of make the decision to go to seminary. And she tapped into my sense of indecision, because should I do this? Should I do that? I don't know. I want to do this. I mean, I was young. A lot of times people go into college knowing what they want to do and they go do it. So many of us don't. We have interests. Do we really know if we want to do that? We don't know, because we haven't done it. We just kind of see it. We read it in the book. We see it on TV. We think we know, but we have no idea. And so one of the things she said that always stuck with me is as if you're at a buffet table. If you do not make a decision, like on what to put on your plate, you prevent other people from being served. And that struck me in such a powerful way, because I recognize that if I don't make a decision about what it is that I am doing in this world and on this planet, I am preventing other people who would be served by me in whatever way. And so when she said that, I remember crying. And I heard a voice. And I'm not one who hears voices from God and things like that. That's not the way that I interact with God. But I heard a voice that time. And for those of you who think it sounds crazy, so what? And I just heard Master of Divinity. And so I began the journey of looking into that. And then I ended up getting into program, and I went to seminary. And while I was there, I had different interests. It wasn't to go into the pastorate in the typical way that people normally go into it. People go into seminary, they're involved in the church, they're going to be a pastor. But I knew for me it would look different. And so in my time there, I did a lot of pastoral care, and I did it in hospitals, I did it in domestic violence shelters, so my path was different. And what ended up happening is I felt like there was something else that I needed to do with this Master of Divinity. And I had some conversations with people, particularly one of my teachers of a colloquy class that I had, and we talked about social work. And one day I was looking in the library at some stuff, and these books just started popping out to me, just kind of like in my mind, in my eye, like they just kind of popped out. And it was like Master Divinity and Master Social Work together. And it was just like, wow, should I really consider this? So I started looking into it. And I just felt like that was the way to go. Excuse me. I felt like that. It was just kind of like a leading for me. That's the way that I experience God, is like a leading intuition. You know, sometimes it's from people, different ways that I do. Like I said, that one time I heard a voice. But so I followed it. And each time that something came up, I just began to follow it and say, okay, let's see where this goes. Very innocently, and I did that. And I ended up in an MSW program. And right now I'm a social worker. And there's still more. Like I could sense more, and I realized there's something else. And what ended up happening was I remembered back to that session that I had with a life coach. But I even remember before then where I was exposed to life coaching and how much I was drawn to it. I mean, drawn to it so much that I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to do that. And you know what happened? I never gave myself permission to do it. I just said, nah, not me, not me. And so maybe like a year or so ago, I want to say it was about a year ago, maybe a year and a half at this point, it just came back up. And, you know, a lot of times people say, well, if you could do anything that you wanted to do, what would it be? What would it look like? What type of thing would you do? And life coaching came up for me. And so this is just something else, and I'm following the leading. And now I'm also doing life coaching in addition to social work, in addition to having the divinity degree. And so my journey has kept going with me sitting with the truth and honesty of what it is that I desire, what it is that I like, what it is that I'm drawn to. And being willing to take the risk just to try it. And I haven't always. I mean, this has been over a span of, I want to say all of this has been over a span of about at least 12 years. And probably longer, because I was still questioning things while I was in undergrad. But just being willing to finally take the risk, to finally really sit with the questions within myself and ask those questions and be okay with the answer and say why not and let's try it and, you know, what's the worst that can happen kind of thing, has led me down this path. And another thing that helped, just kind of want to add that in there, was I was looking through this book. I can't remember the name of it. I still have it. I'll have to look it up. But it talked about not that we are looking to see what God wants us to do and then we figure out that one thing, but that we co-create a life with God. That in us are our desires and our wants, and God either has placed them in us or God is working with us alongside of that. And so God doesn't just create this life for us, but that we create it with God as well. And that was powerful for me, because I always felt like I have to find that thing that I'm here to do, and if I don't, then I fail in some way. And that was a lot of pressure. And I was really glad when I took that off of myself and understood that I have a role in this, because as much as, you know, maybe God is creating this life for me, if that's true, I have to say yes. So I do have a role in this. And for me, I do believe that we're creating a life with God. So that also helped. And I feel like I am still on this journey. Like I didn't just find the thing. I'm still going. I'm still learning about myself. I'm still learning how my calling will unfold. I'm still on the path. And each day I have to work at making the choice to work toward it and not fall back into my comfort zone, not fall back into the places that are easy, the places that are comfortable, the places that are just, you know, typical. You know, I have to each day choose. And it's hard because sometimes I do fall back into that. But I believe that the calling is a journey. And for me, you know, I understand, and I'm starting to learn more and more about some of the gifts that I have and how they can be used in various ways. So, and even with the open box, like I'm using it with the open box as well. Everything that I mentioned, it still comes out in the videos that I do and in the posts that I write. And when we also bring the open box offline, you'll see it there too. But it's a journey, and it's still so much more to unfold. And so that's my story. That's where I am. That's the short version. it is what it is, but it feels good. I mean, some days it's terrifying. Some days it's just crazy. But it feels good, and I truly believe that I am on the right path and that I don't have to find this one thing, but that I'm just going toward whatever I need to go toward. And then sometimes this one thing that I thought it was, that will end. And yet I'm still on the journey, and the calling is still being unfolded, and the calling is still being lived out. So hopefully you enjoyed my story. That's my life in a nutshell. Please let me know if you have any comments. How do you feel about calling? Do you feel like you have found yours? Are you on your journey to calling? Are you, is it tough? Do you not know what I'm talking about at all? You know, give me some feedback. I'd love to hear from you guys. Whether you give us some messages on theopenbox.com or on the video below. And also you can reach me on Twitter at Land of Brooke. Can't wait to hear from you. Hope this was entertaining at least. All right, y'all. Have a good one.